Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Live with Roger Hanson. Here with me and Karma Love, my co-host.
How you
Say
doing?
hello. And today the topic is storytelling, and I am going to finally read my story. Um, I had somebody on last week for a story that they're telling their story and everything. And before I do that, I want to let everybody know that if you have, uh, or if you want to tell your life story, you're more than welcome to do it here. Contact me through the comment section in our live chat room, live with Roger Hanson, or just direct message me if you can, and I'd be more than happy to talk to you and maybe set up a time to do it. Also, I want to make an announcement. It's a good one. Karma Love is going to be doing an interview tomorrow. Aren't you, Karma?
I am so excited.
You, you want to tell everybody a little bit about it?
Yep, old John, who was here, whose story was shared last week. We're going to be doing an interview. He's going to be interviewing me. We're going to do it over on Discord. It'll be live at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If anyone's interested, you'll have to go through Roger and old John to get those Discord links. But if not, I know we're going to have it streaming. So, yeah, definitely tune in. I'm just going to be talking a little bit about myself, I guess, life, how I got where I am today. So that's it.
All right. Now, with John, he's not as cool as we are. Okay, so just understand that it'll probably be a one-on-one interview. Okay, because we allow a lot of people in here to get involved with us, but he
Are you
likes.
not going to be there?
No, this is strictly you and him doing an interview together, man.
Oh.
This is the way the professionals are supposed to do it. See,
Oh.
John's a professional. I'm just a freaking henchman, dude. I'm,
Okay.
I, I'm chocolate thunder.
Yes, yes, you are. That's so
See,
funny to me, but
but anyhow, this is going to be an interview with you and John, and most likely there'll be nobody else there. Okay, so
okay.
then after that, what'll happen is it'll get posted and it'll have you on it, and you'll become a superstar and no longer need oat chocolate
Yeah,
like
right. You're
thunder.
crazy. You
Oat
never forget
chocolate
about where you
thunder.
come from. Then you be fake. I wouldn't even like you're crazy insane. I'll only get to where I'm going because of where I've been at. And thanks to you, this is where I be. So no, crazy. Every six you'll see me, even unless I cannot, like for other reasons. But yeah, no, you got
Yeah,
me.
for woman duties and stuff like that.
That's right.
You gotta run to the playground with the kids and take care of the kids and stuff like that. So
Literally feel like you just saw me because I honestly was just doing that. No nonsense. No nonsense. I literally just left the park to make sure that we had a quiet background for our interview. So it's funny. I
now,
mean, for our show.
this would be the perfect time too. But since I've already gotten John and I've already gotten Pecos, you want to do your life story on here too?
Wait, what? No, I want to hear your story. Stop
No,
attempting.
not today.
Oh, I was about to say, keep taking.
you,
No,
you
you're not
think I'm
pushing.
dodging?
Yeah, you've been dodging me for like 2, 3 weeks. Every week, I'm like, can I have some more? You're like, no. I'm like, please, just a little bit. You're like, no, no, no. I'm like, no. I put my hand down on this bar thingy, my foot down. No, you will bring to me.
No,
But
at some later time, would you be willing to do it?
yeah, no problem. You should have did it first. The fact that you're pawning me off
Oh
onto
hell,
some, you know
oh
what I
hell,
mean?
gotta be like that.
Yeah, you're
It's
supposed to
just,
do it
well,
first.
see, Pecos was he worked for NASA, so that was just a have to. Now, I even put him before I did frickin' John, who I've known for like 10 to 12 years, somewhere in there. We know each other so long. I can't even tell you the first. I can't tell you the exact date I met him, dude. Like what year and how long ago. Okay.
And then you just now got his. But you said that you've been attempting to catch up with him for a little hot minute. You were saying that before you got like that's why it was so important that you got it done. You were like, man, and I
Hmm.
finally got him. So yeah, no, we're just gonna have to thug it out for a little while and push this one out. I'll do my storytelling next time. We're doing his, and it's like okay. And I mean, you even said it then. You were like, I had to do it on Discord, and I had to do it when he was ready. So I was just grateful
Hmm.
to finally get it. So yeah, no, I understand. It wasn't even that. I was just saying before you told him about me, you were supposed to interview me. Now he gonna get all the juice, and it's just gonna be redundant, not even as
Oh, trust
interesting.
me. Right now, I got other people thinking that too. Like on my gaming interviews,
Mm-hmm.
I got the Drew gamer that I know I need to interview him, and I've already gone through freaking John, old John, Rapid Glitch, and freaking well, old John. He's actually a gamer, but it wasn't game related that we did our interview on. That was for this his life story. So that doesn't technically count. But I did Rapid Glitch. I did Zach. Well, Zach was before I asked him, but I did Rapid Glitch and now freaking King Lion of the Locks. So that means two people so far.
You've been killing the interview though, and like I really definitely respect that because you've been so consistent, and I like the fact that I did not miss much because you really started going hard like since I've been around. So I don't know what you were doing before, but I'm just grateful because I don't think I've missed much of anything. I missed that tech one y'all did last week, but other than that, like yeah, I get to be a part of it, so it's fun.
Well, that that one I wasn't too happy about. It could have gone better. Um,
Yeah, I remember you saying that was, but I mean, it is what it is. You're going to do Tech Talk this week, right?
yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
It depends on if I can get everybody. I'd like to get Pecos back on there because he's the one that we got all that other stuff from that I wanted to talk about. But as well, he's got an invention that he wants to come out with that is pretty
The air
cool.
conditioner one, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember the cooling system. What I was really hoping, I really wish you could switch it to Thursday because so on Thursday and Saturday I have basketball games. And Tech Talk is just not my area of expertise. So yeah, I'd come to support and if I had quite like be able to listen in and if I had questions, I'd be able to ask them. But conspiracy is my absolute favorite and the way it stands now, I'll be able to come from like 6 to 6:30 but my baby, he does basketball from 6:30 to 8. And I know I had this is his first game this week too. My other one had his game on Saturday. They were supposed to be able to do it together, but then the coach kind of just he dropped a bomb on me, and so I had to kind of rearrange it. So my baby does Thursday, and it's gonna be whack because I'm gonna miss my favorite show every Thursday at least for the next month or so. I'm like, I don't even know how to get around that. That's why I was hoping, especially if it's not anyone else's, like if they have to do Wednesday, if you could get them to commit to Thursday so we could do conspiracy on Wednesday so I could be fully attentive and take my notes. And then on
I
Thursday,
could do it. I could do it, but uh, yeah, I can do it. It's not even worth worrying about talking on in here. Tan and them don't watch this stuff, so
okay, so as long as you can do that, then I
I
just
can
because
do
I
it.
don't want to. I was so heated, and I told my baby, I was like, "Look, my show comes on because I call it my show. I'm like, my show comes on Thursday. I said, so I'm gonna be at the game, and I make sure I'm recording. I was like, but like I found a spot in the gym that gives me a little bit of signal. I did good. That's why I was able to stay on this last time that I was at the gym because I found a little spot in the corner that gives me, like I said, it doesn't cut off my phone. But still, I ask questions. I be doing research. Like I like to be attentive because I find out so much stuff on conspiracy. So I just, if you
Yeah,
switch it, that'll be awesome and greatly appreciated. And I'll have no excuse to not be attentive.
let me fandangle that schedule around a little bit so that we can get something worked out. But I
Amen.
definitely can do something. I got to do it for my co-host
Thank
It's
you. You're
important.
so great, and that makes me so happy because I was really sad. Like, no, my favorite show is the one I gotta miss because I thought we were gonna do all of our games on Saturday because that's what he told me. But then he's like, "Oh no, he got to play with 6 to 8." I'm like, "But you told me before. I told you it's easier for me to come one time." Oh yeah, I know, but he's not big. Like, man, why did you just make? Because they were practicing together. He made it seem like he understood what I was saying. But no
Hmm.
offense, men often kind of like just look in your mouth while you're talking and they don't listen. And it's just like,
Well,
this was that like,
it's just like right now, man. I'm paying you good money. I don't want you to be going running off and freaking doing all that stuff. I mean,
that's
shit.
that's what I said. I was just
Yeah.
saying, you're cutting into the funding, my guys. What are
I.
you doing?
What would Mark say? He's our sponsor. He'd be like, "What? Karma Love ain't here."
I know he was talking junk, but like the thing about it is, what I like about Tech Talk is because it's kind of like gaming. I can listen in and then chime in with my questions, but well, not all gaming because some gaming days are different. But especially when you do interviews and you guys talk about stuff that goes completely over my head, and I just sit there and like, okay, all right, I hear you, but this makes no sense to me. Oh well, okay. I'll look
Yeah.
up the games. Like I have like a whole bunch of searches of me looking up the games you guys were talking about just for the ones that like sounded interesting, and I was like, "Oh, right, that might be interesting to play." And just so I do have I still do those searches, but it's not like I can give too much input. Same with Tech Talk. You guys are teaching me on those talks, like conspiracy. We actively, I'm googling it, and then I'm telling you. But like, you know what I mean? With Tech Talk, it's like you guys teaching me about different like cloud services and features that I could be utilizing, learning about the like Element. We talked about Element that one time, and it being like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's just like I learned so much stuff from you guys. So it's just like I can still tune in and listen. Anything that I miss, I can always go back to. But I can be present enough to hear if I hear something. Oh wait, let me unmute and ask my question. But conspiracy, I'm like all in with that. So it's like no, 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 no. I don't know what to do. And I'm glad I talked to you because at first I wasn't gonna say anything and I was just gonna thug it
I'm
out.
glad you
But like,
did talk to me because that's what we need to do. We need to work with one another, get things straight, get the schedule,
yeah,
get
you're so
schedule.
cool.
Schedule is the most important thing. You know what I mean? It's
You
just
should get old John hooked up with people. Well, I don't know how many people you really know, but just like how you hooked them up with me, just because he's getting started back again with like he was
oh,
saying
he's got more connections than I do. He's gonna be the one hooking me up. I mean, seriously,
Nice.
that dude knows so many people when it comes to freaking like paranormal and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and it's amazing. Just to be honest with you,
Oh,
he can pull it. He already did like 3 interviews before he asked you.
oh wow, I'm
Yeah.
excited then. Like that's so cool because like I mean, a lot of people they kind of like me and you saw us. We were talking about that earlier, but like a lot of people kind of stray away from that and they kind of get like a little discouraged and standoffish towards people
Hmm.
that are able to quote unquote heal. And so just finding people that really take it seriously and that experience it and embrace it as opposed to looking like when I tell people I can heal myself, and my kids will tell people too. They'll tell everyone, like my mom heals me. Like if something's wrong with them, and then like and they can do it too to an extent. Like they have their little powers as well. Not to say little because they'll grow, but still, it's just like it's funny because it's so natural for us. So it's
Hmm.
like it's a natural type of thing, especially my 8 year old, and then me. But it's still like when you tell people who never experienced that or never tuned into their own capabilities of doing that, they look at you like you're just gassing. Like,
Hmm.
oh, you can't heal. You don't. You have to go to the doctor to heal, and da da da. But like, what about the times the doctors are unable to heal you? Like, what
Now,
about the time the doctors throw their
I've
hands
got
up?
a I've got an important question though. Do you want to hear this story?
Yeah, of course, duh.
I'm just wondering.
Because we're talking about everything except the space salad. Okay, okay, okay. So I'm just gonna sit here and listen. But you said I can ask questions if I
Yeah.
have some.
As
Yeah.
I'm reading, if you hear something that you want to talk about, stop me. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So here it is. This is the first short story for Clash. I haven't put a definite name on it, but I might just call it Zuthra, um, just so you know. And then here it is. Within the lands of a far-off place, Lycia is a kingdom that spans three spheres of the known plains. Within it are streets of jeweled splendor and golden sunshine. There are not, no, these are not the only lands of Lycia, though. There are many diverse environments, cultures, and civilizations that dwell here among the different planes of existences. Lands that are unforgiving, primal, and filled with wild beasts. Jungles that reach up to the sky can take a person without ever leaving a trace of that person ever being there. Planets so unforgiving, the ground itself has the power to kill. Within the center of the divine throne room, a throne sits upon a dais. The dais rises about 2 feet above the floor, and each side of this dais has steps that leads up onto it. Transparent crystals were used in order to create most of the things within this throne room, making the environment bright and full of reflections. Pillars stretch high within the room to a ceiling that is so high it can barely be seen. Rumors have it that these pillars don't even connect to the ceiling, and their mysteries are but a wonder. They too cast off reflections of a mystical blue aura of beauty. Strange symbols are carved into these pillars and the daises as well. Energy flows along the surface of these pillars, swaying like snakes swimming upon the surface of a stream. The bright reflective glow of the throne, dais, and divine pillars cast off of the wall and down into a mysterious pool of visions below. Visions bounce in and out within the waters of this mystical pool. A blue aura hangs over it, and the water itself never sits still, as if it is boiling in low temperatures. The water itself, though, isn't cold at all. Still, it produces a mist that rises above itself into the divine throne room above. The energy springs up from the mystical pool of vision. No, as energy springs up from the mystical pool of visions, an astute, discerned watcher stands above it, staring down into its magical waters, watching the visions as they pass in and out, as if he is watching and deciphering those visions as they happen, harnessing the great secrets of this pool. No, harnessing the great secrets that this pool brings by deciphering its hidden messages. His name is Zuthra, and he is known as the Overking of Lycia. Zuthra's eyes glow a bright blue with a gleaming transparent tiara upon his head. His long curly hair and a matching beard hang down past his shoulders and chest. As Overking, it is his responsibility to secure the future of his bloodline. That is his utmost responsibility above all others, even more important than the responsibilities of being the Overking. Seclusion is the only life that the Overking knows. He must live his life alone, so seduction is a part of the role he must play. As energy springs up from the mystical pool of vision, an astute, discerned watcher stands above, staring. Wait, that's the same one. Yeah, I gotta edit that out. So, how does it sound so far?
It's good. I can picture the description as to far where you're talking about the pillars and just where he's located. Well, the location as to where it's beginning. I picture it kind of dark and gloomy with a lot of like a not a fog machine, but like the steam that you would normally see from a swamp. You know how when a swamp is just like untainted, when you start moving through the swamp, the fog kind of moves. You probably maybe could even put it in a swamp if you were to kind of
Now,
animated in some which way.
now this is actually the background that I had in a couple of the videos that I had. That's my animation with uh, the pillars and the.
Can you put it on the thing? Screen share it?
Well, yeah, I guess I could.
Oh.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. It'll give me something to do.
And it'll give something to relate to show towards as far as it
Um,
goes with
Actually, I
connection.
don't know if they will allow me to screen share a photo.
Oh.
But let me see if I can pop it up and if it'll work. This first time I've
Do you
actually
design your
tried it.
own graphics? You designed it. Yeah, you do your own music, so I know you do your own
Yeah.
graphics and stuff. Yeah.
Oh man, let me see what's showing here. No way. Make
The
sure no.
purple.
Okay. I just want to make sure nobody sees my porn.
You have to put the mosaic on when you do the edit.
The mosaic. Porn in mosaic. Get her done.
That's so funny. That's what I say every time I go look to show somebody my pictures in my phone. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Don't swipe too far left, my guy. Come here. Give me my phone back. It's like, what you got in here? Like, yeah. I hardly have porn or anything weird, but it definitely creates for an interesting experience reaction when they look like, wait, what? Oh, yeah. See, that's the same thing that you. So that's his throne right there in the middle where he'd be sitting there, right? The
Yeah.
chair. That's the same picture that you have on some other things that you do.
Yep.
Like, yeah, on some of your videos, I've seen that picture. Okay, so yeah. See, like, I could picture swamp, right? How you have it raised up at the top. I could picture even not necessarily alligators, but something to where it's like, piranha, piranha, piranha underneath. Yeah, because it's better than
this
alligators.
this is supposed to
Alligators,
be in his throne room, man. He did
it's
not no alligator swamp.
Oh, okay. So there's no piranha underneath. I would think just in
Yeah.
order to limit accessibility type thing, it would be like, you have to go through. He has to kind of push the button to let you walk towards it, and
Hmm.
before the button is pushed, there's no direct path towards it. And then, like, if you have not been granted quote unquote access, you kind of have like the piranha chomping and stuff.
Well,
I don't know.
this whole area, okay, first of all, is just yeah, you exactly like you said. They're not getting to this throne room without permission. Okay, like
Mhm.
an average human being like me and you, okay, would never be able to even see this room. Like only people that sees this room it would be uh, people who are closest to him. You know what I mean, or that have a connection to him. So like this is like yeah, like getting into the room, getting into the throne room would just be it wouldn't be possible. The story as it progresses, you'll see what I'm talking about when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Excuse me.
so I mean, like even getting to the divine palace is another issue. But I need to read on so that I can finish the story, and then you'll know like the whole structure of it. Because I finally did get it all written out. So, but you'll understand once I get it done.
Uh-huh.
And let
After you
me.
said get her done now, it's just now when you said it, once I get it done, it's just, it doesn't even sound like you're supposed to say it. It's supposed to be get her done. Get
It's
her
supposed to
done.
be. It's supposed to be get her done.
Yeah, you sound like yes. Hey, have you ever seen that Duck Dynasty? You
Oh
remind me of
yeah.
Dynasty. Yeah, you could. Do you hunt though?
He's not as good looking as I am though. I
Definitely
mean,
far from it. Far from it. But your voice is kind of like raspy like that. Like that'd be so cool. I could hear you saying "Get her done." Like it's so funny.
that's because
Okay.
he smokes cigarettes and they don't let him smoke when he's on TV. He said it a couple times himself, so
Oh, is that what it is?
that's why
Okay.
he's always grumpy and shit. You're talking about the old one, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's why
older,
he's
yeah,
always grumpy is
that.
because they won't let him smoke on TV.
Yeah, the sons are a bit controlling, especially the main character wanting his life. But that's funny. Huh.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, now energy spills upward out of the pool of visions as Zuthra raises his arms into the air. This energy flows through his body as Zuthra closes his eyes, and visions of the past enter his mind. The pillars begin to glow as priests dressed in shrouded cloaks gather around him. Zuthra places his hands into the water. It keeps blinking out on me.
Oh,
Zuth,
the display.
yeah,
Make it longer for like a minute or two.
I don't know why it keeps doing. Oh, it's back on. So, Zuthra places his hands into the water of the mystical pool of visions and opens his eyes as he raises his arms into the air. Lowering his arms, Zuthra takes the hand of, of one of the priests standing beside him, and they all now circle the pool. And they are all now circling the pool. These memories seem to transfer between them, like a conduit transferring energy from its source to its outlet. Afterwards, the priests return to a corner within the throne room, and this ritual is then repeated over and over again. When Zuthra raises and lowers his arms, at the end of each ceremony, a priest will then announce in a loud voice that is heard across the entire throne room the act of providence is knowing of things before they happen. An intelligent being, no, all, okay, hold up. All intelligent beings live within the known planes of existence, and there are 6 known realms within these planes. The first 3 are ruled by Lycia and are called the higher heavens of Lycia, Protean, and the cardinal realm. Then there are the 3 darker realms ruled by the Draco, a reptilian race of beings. These are the Orphidian, Serpentine, and the Saurian realms. There is a lot of diversity throughout all of these realms, with many environments, cultures, civilizations, and beasts that run wild within them. Within these cultures, civilizations, some people live basic lives day to day, while others travel the stars. Some travel between the realms, while others know nothing outside their own world. Some realms are uncivilized, primal, and filled with every kind of crawling thing, but some are more civilized. Tribal beings are spread within every realm, culture, and civilization abroad. Civilizations travel the stars and have advanced civilizations. No, no, and have advanced no civilizations that travel the stars and have advanced civilizations are everywhere too. Some with a moral outlook on things, while others can travel the stars and have advanced technology but have no value for life. The dominant species within Lycia are humans, while the dominant species within Draco are the Draconians, of course. Slavery is practiced throughout all of the realms except for the higher heavens of Lycia. I call it Lycia too sometimes. Not every culture not every culture and civilization within each of these realms practice the use of slaves though, and are against it. Others destroy cities and villages for the single purpose of collecting slaves. It is the survival of the fittest, and only the strong shall survive in unforgiving and barren environments that are able to kill. Just as much cruelty is committed by humans as well as by the Draco. The Great Seduction is the esoteric teaching handed down through generations of overkings. It can be performed while the target is asleep, awake, in the real world, or in some illusionary world created by the Overking. Survival of his bloodline is the most important thing to an Overking, one of many who came before him. No, to every Overking, that's a typo I messed up on. Survival of his bloodline is the most important thing to an Overking. One of many who have came before him is what Zuthra is one of many who came before him. Each responsibility for finding wives, performing the great seduction, and consecrating his marriage to them through impregnation. Okay, was you getting ready to say something?
No. I was just letting you know I was still here. We're getting a delivery, and
Alright.
I don't have to do anything. That's the only reason I'm muted is so that it does not get noisy in your background on the
It,
recording. Keep going.
it's fine. I just heard a weird noise when it
Oh,
happened.
my chair, shh. My chair is like, yeah, you see what I mean? My
Yeah.
chair started squeaking. I'm sitting at my bar, and the chair started squeaking. So it's not a bar with alcohol, but it's just
Oh,
how
it's
they have
fine.
those things in the
I,
house.
I know what you're talking about.
Shh, I'm working. I'm working. Thank you. Hi. Okay, I'm gonna mute so we can keep going. They're almost done. He's helping.
Alright. Okay. Memories of consummating his marriage with Ulubu enters Zuthra's mind. He would watch her through the pool of visions and thought she was the beautifulest creature that he had ever seen. His desire to have her overtook him, and he committed the great seduction, making her his wife. Zuthra waited until she fell asleep, and he visited her in a dream. Ilubu was from the plains of Proteon, on an unforgiving planet called Lucius, and was a Cistercian maiden who survived in the tunnels below her planet's surface. Her desires were simple. She was only interested in the sight of a beautiful masculine man, one with the eyes that would hypnotize her and the hands that would caress her with ecstasy. Zuthra was exactly what Alubu desired, so seducing her wasn't too hard. Memories of seducing another wife, Senti, a sentinel huntress who lived among the wild, entered Zuthra's mind. She was a huntress, and because of her desire for the hunt, Zuthra was able to seduce her. Zuthra came to her in a dream, taunting her with the visions of a beautiful beast. In the distance, she glanced the most beautiful beast that she had ever seen. She raised her bow and aimed straight, then let go of the quiver, only to miss the target. Her blood began to boil. She did not like missing her target. She followed her prey, and when the sun began to fall, she laid under a tree to rest because the weather was beautiful that day. She was tempted by a dream that Zuthra implanted within her mind until finally she was impregnated by Zuthra, and through
See, that's
consent.
crazy.
Huh?
I just think it's crazy because like he plotted on her, and then as soon as she kind of went to sleep, he just basically attacked. But anyway, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
He took her.
Yeah, yeah,
He
like
took her. She
that's so
was
wild.
she was impregnated by Zuthra, and through consummation, she became his wife. Zuthra remembered how hypnotic she was with her slim but muscular body. Her hair was bright. Her hair was a white, golden blonde, and she had glowing blue eyes. Memories of seducing another wife, Senti, a sentinel huntress who, see, they did it to me again. Yeah, I gotta
You have to
take
change the settings so that it doesn't. You know what I
it,
mean?
it
Like,
duplicated it in there. I think it is in my settings. Yeah, it did it to me. Uh, Let me get this taken care of.
okay.
This was. I'm glad I had to do this because this is off of my word pad. So
Oh, wait. So is that's different from like tablet then, huh?
yeah.
WordPad. Yeah, I heard of this recently. There is something called Remarkable. It's like a word pad, but I never heard of it until like maybe about 2, 3 weeks ago now. I've been longer, but I didn't really pay attention until 2, 3 weeks ago.
Okay. I've got all the information now. I can just take those out. They added in 3 parts that I didn't want there. Okay. Memories of seducing Tiana, his third wife, and also entered Zuthra's mind. She was the ruthless one among them, but beautiful nonetheless. Every night she would sleep over a torture chamber as her slaves were beaten to death. She enjoyed the sound of them begging for mercy.
I
Zuthra
don't know. Go ahead.
Zuthra seduced her out of bloodlust, disguised himself as her slave, as she tortured him out of bloodlust. Her desires grew, and she was seduced by Zuthra. He impregnated her as well, making her his third wife. So, right there, I just had to keep it short because she's a wild woman. She's crazy.
Yeah, I know, and I like it. How can you make? You got to make this a movie. Can you not see all of them and like all the pretty girls that you've described? Tiana, man, I hear what you're saying, but you're gonna have to make her like I
Oh,
don't know.
it's.
I want her to be brown and like not even if she's not like a hipster
I'll
girl.
give you a little spoiler. Tiana is just the first. Okay, with uh, her people.
Yeah.
Okay, she's like the first in the generation. So the story doesn't just stop at this generation. It goes on to further generations after these people. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just introducing uh, who she is and what her civilization is right now. But as time goes on, there's going to be more stories with later generations added into the short stories. So
Okay.
it's it's pretty cool. Now I'm debating now with because this is just my rough draft. Okay, so this could also be just like folklore for a later generation to believe in. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So
Or you manifesting because you know you become what you think about most of the time, and once you write it down, it's as good as a spell. So if it has that to happen, you could actually be creating it to happen.
don't be saying that to me.
Are you kidding me? I want to be Tiana. I don't necessarily care about the beating of the slaves and the torture of that, but the men that have wronged my existence, please let me. Yes.
You just you just want to be a woman with leather and a whip.
Yes, yes, yes. You peasants, how dare you betray me? Yeah, stuff like that. I know. I don't
Okay.
know. They say I have to get counseling, but I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think it'll work at this point. All right,
Okay.
we're going.
Now, imams were responsible for ruling over the Overking's place when he wasn't there to rule himself. He wasn't there to rule for himself. Eventually, mistrust among the people, with whispers of draconian infiltrators influencing the imams, began to emerge. Zithra, Zuthra, aware of the rumors, investigated and found to his dismay that some of the rumors were correct. Dealing in illegal trade and the emergence of a drug created by the by the Draco called Soma quickly spread across the realms. Eventually, the only responsibility of the imams consisted of trade negotiations with the merchants. By the time this took place, though, the merchants were already being influenced by the Draco, conspiring with them in illegal trade. Merchants and warlords are now are, no Merchants and warlords are never to be trusted. Unethical dealings among each other in slave trading and illegal dealings with the Draco. The merchant class is built up with their own federation, dictating to the people who they can do trade with and who they can't. In order for its citizens to do any trade, Lycia has to trade within these federations and nowhere else. This is proclaimed by law. While enforcing trade agreements, these same people deal with warlords who travel freely within the realms, plundering citizens and taking slaves for trade, forcing citizens to pay tribute for protection. Warlords make big profit off of being the middleman between the merchants and the Draco too, trading in slaves and genetic research material. In these lands, most of its people didn't see good or evil, and right or wrong. The ones who did believe in something, though, believed in darkness and the light. They believed that there was also a balance in all things, too. Most, most believe in survival of the fittest, though, and only the strong survive. Prepared to sacrifice his own life for the Draco, Optu ventures into Lycia by ways of a transport ship. He made his way to the Cardinal Realm and established contact with thriving draconian tribal settlements in that realm. From this point of operation, Optu began to teach the ways of the Draco, converting humans into followers, sending with him an exotic drug, eventually known as Soma. The intentions of the Draco were clear. Their eventual takeover of Lycia was well planned, and with the use of Soma, it didn't look too far off either. Soma had the ability to control the person using it utterly and completely, turning them into mindless slaves. Optu began in the Cardinal Realm, converting underhanded merchants and its inhabitants into followers. Soon a cult of followers grew up around Optu, and as more followers came, his influence grew. He was soon moving into Protean as well. Eventually, Optu had a tight holding not only on the merchants, but he also had control of imams as well. Most of the merchants were controlled by Soma, but not all of them. The ones who actually weren't controlled by the drug and still traded with Abtu did it out of pure greed. As time went on, Abtu was finally captured. Not in time, though. The damage was already done. Zuthra's enemies were close at hand, and the final episodes of his kingdom's demise were within sight. Abtu was placed under close supervision by Zuthra's faithful sentinel guard within the lower levels of the Divine Palace, close to both the sentinels and Zuthra himself. But, as I mentioned before, this was only the beginning of the end for Zuthra. Ilubu was from an unforgiving planet within the realm of Proteum and had to survive in underground tunnels in order to survive. She was honored by the act of becoming the wife of an Overking, and she didn't really have much for a future on the planet of Lycia, where she came from. Senti was a beautiful blonde huntress who was desired by every man who encountered her. Marriage wasn't that big of a deal to her. The hunt was of more importance. Besides, her people were the honored guard of the Overking themselves, so becoming the wife of an Overking only seemed logical to her. These two wives loved the idea of being queen to a certain extent, considering one was a huntress and the other a Cistercian maiden. Tiana, though, was from a world that was harsh, whose society was ruled only by women and saw no value in men other than reproduction. Men in her world were nothing more than a subspecies, so becoming queen infuriated her. She vowed vengeance on Zuthra for what he had done, swearing to herself that she would be avenged for the treachery that was done to her. As Abtu was taken into custody, Zuthra had no idea that Abtu and Tiana had allied together against him. A moment of clarity comes to Zuthra when the reality of his wife's betrayal comes into light. Tiana was in league with Abtu and his cult of followers, prepared to move against Zuthra in an all-out assault for the throne of Lycia. The Imams had been divided, the ones who were still loyal to the Overking and the Imams who betrayed him. These were the self-proclaimed satraps, now working hand in hand with Tiana, Abtu, and the Draconian. Merchants and warlords followed the assault on Lycia as well. The Imams who stayed loyal to Zuthra gathered their forces and quickly fortified the king's divine palace. Abtu was then subdued at this time and taken to the divine palace, where he was placed within its lower levels. The news of the uprising was swift, and there wasn't much time in which to act. Not all of the sentinels and imams were able to rally. It was too late, it seemed, for some, as Tiana and her forces had finally gathered and were ready to move on Zuthra and his forces. Soon, mighty cities within Lycia began to fall, one after the other. Fires raged as flames fell from the sky from the assault. With help from the Draconians, the final assault and destruction of Lycia was swift. Warlords, merchant ships, satraps, and Tiana were able to move quickly through the empire effortlessly. Armed by the Draconian with battle cruisers, Tiana moved through the barriers between each plane with ease. As she did, Tiana and her forces destroyed everything within their path. Nobody. Huh?
Okay, you said effortlessly, but
Yeah.
you do have it saying
Effortlessly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know it says effortlessly. Sometimes I
Let
know
me
the words get ahead of you. I was just making sure for the
no.
story
Let me
you had
make
it.
sure I got that because that's a good spell check. You caught
Yeah, I
it.
was just making sure. As I'm not hardly listening. No, I'm just joking. I love this. I didn't want to be the grammar teacher, but at the same
Yeah,
time, it's
effort.
like,
Yeah, effortlessly.
yeah, you have it.
Effortlessly.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I was just making sure. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Proceed.
Now, see, I do want to at another time describe that more, but because I want to make the barrier between these planes, you know what I mean, more descriptive as it goes,
Yeah,
and
dominant so that you can see it. Like, yeah.
I want to kind of describe it a little bit. I don't want to do too much because, like I said, I want to let the readers have their own imagination too. You know.
You could even do that a bit in the second one, which would
Yeah.
probably make it to where, you know what I mean? Because you have the first one, they kind of know. And
It
then maybe
mentions
each
it.
book can, yeah, it mentions it so they know what they kind of set them up for. And then
Mm-hmm.
in each story to come can kind of like emphasize on specific planes. You know what I mean? Like touch on
Yeah.
each one of them and everyone, but like have what's going on one plane be a focal point of one story, what's going on another plane be a focal point, not necessarily a focal point, because you still would like to have the main story, which is this attack on I don't know how to say his name, Zerthra.
Yeah,
I
Zuthra.
said Zethra. So the attack on him to be able to be, of course, the focal point, but in the process, kind of describing like the people that come from different planes, how it was that certain planes has certain type of people. Maybe like the trading system that goes on, because I remember you were
Mm-hmm.
talking about that. Yeah, like those
Yep.
could be all from different ones. But okay, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just
Oh,
wanted
that's
to make.
fine. It's
I
fine.
knew for a fact that you had it right, but just in case you did not before you published it, I just, you know what I mean? Sometimes I mean, please, I spell check about 6, 7 times and still end up with at least one typo, especially if I do it on my phone. Now,
Yeah.
now I'm such a good typer. So on the laptops or the iPad, it's not as bad. But if I do it on my phone, it doesn't matter. I can spell check 150 times. It's still going to be
Well, it was a
at
good.
least
It was a good
one.
call. It really was a good call. That's one thing that I always want to check is my spelling. Make sure that's okay. And I mean, the one thing I found out from my old sponsor Robert, because he's a local writer, is he's like, don't worry too much about your grammar because a lot of these publishers like the accents that people give when they do their writing.
Right.
But he was real big on the spelling, and he said even when it comes to the spellings, it's okay to get some of it wrong because they've got people who'll do that for you. But it also shows how important it is to you if you're actually making an effort. You know what I mean? Go through and change the spelling and stuff if it's
Yeah.
wrong. Be,
Exactly. You're not rushing through it. It's important to you and it matters to you. So you're doing it as a reflection of that same thing. So yeah, no,
right.
I agree with him. I agree with Robert.
So,
He's right. Yeah. Okie dokie.
all right. So, armed by the Draconians with battle cruisers, Tiana moved through the barriers between each plane with ease. As she did, Tiana and her forces destroyed everything within their path. Nobody could ever guess the amount of guilt and shame that Zuthra felt in those final hours as the enemy forces of his wife moved in for the final blow. With the death of so many of his people, all must have seemed lost to Zuthra. Now only crumbling remains of those great cities remain, but there is a twist to the story. The closest of the Imams, the more powerful ones near to Zuthra, sit in the divine throne room with him. They devise a plan that Zuthra is forced to accept with the sentinels who protect Zuthra, the palace in the higher heavens of Lycia. The Imams transports the Imams the Imams see, this is another typo. Okay, the Imams transport them into separate planes of existence. Okay. They devise a plan that Zuthra is forced to accept. With the sentinels who protect Zuthra, the plains and the higher heavens of Lycia, the Imams, no, and the Imams are, no, with the Imams are transported into separate planes of existence, created just for this higher heaven, just for the higher heavens of Lycia, the plains, the palace, and the divine throne room. Zuthra is protected by the barrier created between this plane and the others. There was yet another twist to this solution as well. Abtu was in the lower levels of the divine palace, held prisoner, transported to this plane as well. That is going to have to be checked over and rewritten right there. I messed that one up big time. So, through visions, Zuthra sees...
What's it supposed to say?
It's supposed to say the same thing. It's just the freaking writing was completely off. I should have gone through that one little paragraph a little bit better. I'm glad I seen that. So, right here, I did a real bad on here with high heavens of Lycia. The Imams transport them into separate planes of existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even sound right. I was probably staring right at it too. Like, it's weird how that is. Like, you don't notice it until you say it out loud. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was probably staring at it the whole time, not even thinking about it. That's why I use the narrator when I do my edits. I'll let the narrator read it. I don't know if I did it with this one though.
No, that's actually a really good idea, because then you know if you are missing something.
Yeah, you can listen to it. Through visions, Zuthra sees his people gathered up by the Draconians. Like a herd of animals. They are used as food in genetic research done by the Draco, who are truly in power over what was once Zuthra's empire. He grieves for his people with tears that fall from his eyes into the pool of visions below. Shame and guilt shadow self-pity as these visions enter Zuthra's mind. He covers his eyes and shouts screams of anguish for the lives lost. Tears fell from Zuthra's face as he pulled his hands away from it. The scene had all changed around him. The Imams were toiling as they did before, and the divine throne room was as it was before the attacks began, and with the divine pool of visions below his feet. Zuthra soon realized that he had just had a vision, and all the things that he had just seen had not happened yet. Zuthra knew that these were visions of the future, though. He had seen visions about the future before, and was familiar with the emotions that he was experiencing at that moment. He not only knew that the events he saw were going to happen, but he knew that they would happen soon. Out of nowhere, familiar words from a nearby imam filled the room. The act of providence is in knowing of things to come before they happen. Sentinels were given the order, evacuation of the terrorist capital of the Divines and the Divine Palace at once. Zuthra also ordered all major cities of all planets within the realm to evacuate too. After the evacuations, the terrorist capital of the Divine was then separated from the other planes of existence, like what Zuthra had seen in his visions. All of the people within the empire were told to evacuate, so So fleeing in a mass exodus, the citizens of Lycia were scattered in all directions within the realms of existence. Forgotten Obtu was now a prisoner in the lower levels of the divine power, sent into the same plane of existence as Zuthra, who was in the divine throne room, while he was prisoner within the lower level of the divine palace. Merchants loyal to Zuthra still assisted in the evacuation of Lycia and passage aboard their passage aboard their ships. The deceived followers of the Draco remained staying behind and waiting for their master's arrival. Zuthra made quick plans for the destination of his people, allowing them to flee to far-off places on the boundary of the known realms of existence, hidden away from the Draconian as well as possible. Places were established eventually where Zuthra's people could resettle and restart their new lives. Routes of escape were kept open so that stragglers could someday find their way back to the people that had resettled in these far-off places. Interstellar battlecruisers were en route to Lycia as the invasion began. As they fell out of hyperspace, though, they were intercepted by the Draconian fleet who had arrived first. Quickly, they were destroyed as Draco forces began to bombard the planet of Lycia below. Thankfully, the cargo vessels full of refugees had already left, on their way to safety as far off destinations unknown. In far off destinations unknown. Zuthra remained within the divine palace and throne room, separated from his people, separated from all the other planes of existence, and waiting for the day when he would be able to return to Lycia and take back what was rightfully his. The cities of the Lycian Empire laid at waste, though the treacherous satraps remained behind to rule. Followers of the Draco stayed behind too, as the Draconian quickly seized power, placing Tiana on the throne, making her their puppet while they spin their sinister deeds. The Draconians had no wish to eradicate the human race, just the opposite. They wanted to enslave them. Genetic research soon began, and the followers of the Draco soon discovered that they were betrayed too. Through gene splicing, the Draconian wished to mix their genetics with the humans. This has always been the desire of the Draco since they first discovered the existence of humans. For generations, the Draconians had searched throughout the plains for genetically suitable specimens. With each failure, they left in their wake destroyed civilizations until they found humans, that is. Within their society, they hold genetically mixed beings as, at high regard. These creatures are looked up to from the regular reptilian Draconians. The dream of the Draconians to create a civilization that is someday mixed with human DNA, but that is a bit harder. No. The dream of the Draconians is to create a civilization that is someday mixed with human DNA, but that was a bit harder than what they had estimated. They discovered over time that humans are very cunning. While the Draconian while the Draconian admired human and Draconian mixed beings, Hold up. While the Draconians admired human and Draconian mixed beings, they held little regard for humans themselves. Other than being useful in experiments, the Draconians used humans as a food source too. The human population that remained behind were turned into mindless slaves to do with as the Draconians wished. Some were used as cattle, while others were turned into unthinking cyborgs for battle. Then there was the genetic research which took place, changing humans into all kinds of hideous reptilian mixed creatures. Placing Tiana on the throne, they used human female slaves to communicate with her from a distance. The Draconians were capable beings able to use telepathy as a way to communicate from a distance. All of the human slaves under the control of the Draco could hear only their masters and nothing else. Tiana began to fall further into darkness after offering millions of her own kind to the Draconians as payment for what they had given her. Soon, all she wanted to feel was the pain that was given to others. It didn't matter if it came from males or females now. As time went on, the numbers of the Draconian occupied areas became desolate. As time went on, the numbers of the Draconian occupied areas became desolate. As humans began to realize that what was happening to them and others around them, they too fled to far off places, leaving behind the nightmare of what they had experienced. Soon, Lycia became a desolate memory of a lost empire long ago. This, though, is not the ending, but the beginning. Long after the Lycian Empire had fallen, the great houses still thrive. Many of the refugees who fled retain the lessons of their past and continue forward. Great civilizations began to emerge in place of the old ones, and soon there was a new world. Many things change, but many stay the same. These houses would be what was left of that which was before. The battle between the humans and the Draconians persisted into the far future too. The history, what the Draconians had done, was passed from generation to generations. Humans knew of the Draconian plot and what they wished to do to them. As time passed, slaves fleeing the old land of Lycia told stories of the horrors done. These are just some of the things to be told, and there is much, much more to say. Zuthra still sits within the divine throne room upon his throne. Many cycles have passed, and he is still bound within a plane of existence, separated from the rest. He sits staring down from his throne into a pool of visions, watching his people thrive and grow. He sees the pain, the agony, the defeat that his people have endured, and still he sits, watches, and waits for his moment to claim what is rightfully his. And that's it.
Okay, so I was tripping about the fact that she got so depressed that she was ready to just the same type of pain that she had experienced. She had been inflicted. She was attempting to have herself experience because she was just so over the whole entire situation. First of all, the way you read it is so cool, but you should go like deep, like just to make it sound so mystical, like so, I guess, like scary almost, because it's some scary stuff that's going on.
How many pages you think that was?
You told me it was 16, so I'd be unfair to not like go with that. You told me 16. Was it 16 though? Was it a full 16?
No.
Alright, so let me guess.
That's a rough draft.
13.
I need it to be 16.
So 13, 11.
Oh, you can't know the number. I mean, that's. I was just asking if you knew how many
Oh my
numbers there
gosh.
was. I mean, come on, dude.
How you gonna ask me and then not even tell me? That's so whack. What in the world? What's the point?
Now I gotta come up here and I got a page set up because that's important. I do need to know how many pages.
You might want to add that in, right?
Yeah. Now see, this is. Uh, it says
Why?
front page numbers. I think. I think what it was is I needed to come in here.
Why did I order groceries and they did not send me half of my groceries? So then I go to tell them at Uber and they're like, "Oh well, you can't. You're not eligible for a refund, but we don't care that you don't have your food." Half of the stuff was for my kids. What really ticks me off is that they took my coffee and now they're just acting like it's no big deal. Like Uber such this is the second day they did it. They let some guy ejaculate in my food yesterday.
Oh my
And then,
god.
yeah, and then have some girl that's not him deliver the food. And so we don't eat the food. Then I'm like, hey, it's taking them 2 days to resolve. First of all, it was fake. You can't tell me it wasn't Kanye West that came to deliver my stuff with his little friend because the person that was in the car or on the paper wasn't not on the paper, but in the phone was not the right guy. And then some random girl comes and it was just everything was all the food was thrown all over the bag. And look, you could tell they took 30 minutes to deliver it from somewhere that's 10 minutes away. You could tell it was some shady stuff going down with it. So, of course, we were like, we're good on it. Then today, I ordered groceries for my boys, and half the stuff is missing. Granted, I'm not as frustrated about the little stuff, but my coffee is missing as well. And then when I go to pull up the receipt, they're like, oh, there's no receipt. So then I contact the help desk and they're like, oh, this requires a special response fee. Are you kidding me? You cannot give me a receipt for what I just spent. It's like $200 worth of stuff. I would like my money. And they're trying to just play with me. Like, I really wish all the bad things that could possibly happen to everyone involved. And I mean that. I just had to say that on stream because I know
Yeah.
they'll hear me and they'll know how I feel. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
are you feeling good now?
I feel better now. Actually,
Okay.
a release. It was like a serious release. Much necessary.
So, um, that's the end of the story right there for now. And like I said, it's the first draft. I'll be going through and editing it and arranging it. And like I said, this is a short story, so it's going to be 16 minutes long. And I have to freaking add details to it. You know, like there has to be more conversation going on in there too. Make it more realistic. You know what I mean? Instead of
So
just
you know what
telling the
they're
story.
doing, like when they're about to have their attack, and it does. Excuse me. Does Arthur tell like what's going on, like this, or does he kind of keep it to? Well, he does because he tells the mom so that they know that they have to be able to be ready for this attack. But I was just wondering, does he like kind of? You should have him expressive, not should, but
Yeah.
can he be expressive? Almost want him to be in fear without him being able to show his fear. I want him to be kind of reluctant. I know, right? I
Well,
want him
instead
to
of
be, but like,
describing his fear, I can have it to where it's showing through his words and what
yes.
he's saying.
Yes, and his actions, the way
Yeah.
the way he's moving, like he's moving incoherently, like you can tell that he's kind of all over the place,
Yeah.
unexpected things. Yeah, it's like, are you sure you want us to do that? And he's like, yeah, just do it. And he's like snapping on people. Oh man, you gotta make this a movie.
Wow. It's pretty good, but this is only, like I said, a short story, and there'll be more to it that'll be added into it. I wanna make at least freaking 10 short stories, and I wanna try to get them to where each short story is about 16 pages long.
Okay.
You know, so
What
have,
what encouraged you to do this? Is it your just studying of like because you study a lot of history and you can tell because even like you said, Cestalin or Sisterin, we just read
Cistern.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cisterin.
that yes, and we just read something that mentioned this. Not even if it's not the same name, it was a similar name, right?
Yeah. Well, the the name's basically the same. I just can't find an alternative freaking name for Cisterin. So I
Uh,
gave it the name, but then I altered the way that people are. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So that they aren't as hardcore as what the real life Cistercians are.
Cross culture.
Yeah.
cross culture. Like, yeah, we're talking about these people, but
Since
it's
since
really
it
they're
is
acting like these
yeah,
people.
since it is freaking fiction, I can actually play with it. Where if I was trying to do something that was non-fiction, I'd have to freaking keep it the way it is. You know.
Right, you not be able to, like you said, alter facts type thing and just mix it up a little bit. I love that about it too because it makes it more entertaining at least, and then it gives you more room to be able to kind of make necessary adjustments and present it how it's necessary.
Like Tiana, okay, freaking Tiana and Alubu
Mm-hmm.
and all those names.
Yeah.
If you ever have time, freaking Google them.
What they mean, like
Just,
etymology, what they mean.
just,
Okay.
just Google them and stuff. Alubu, Senti, Centi.
Okay, so I remember Sensi, but and I feel like when I hear Sensi, I think of Sentinel, and then I think of a Sensi monster. I don't know where I feel where am I getting Sensi monster from? There's a Sensi monster, and or wasn't that the big stone thingy? No, that's something else. That's the monster that turns into stone or that is made of stone or made of mud or something. And they no, that's something else we just read. But Sensi Monster, there's something called a Sensi Monster. And then Alubu, I feel like I just, oh, that was Usa. Maybe it was Usa or Isa or something like that. I thought it was Alubu, but it might not have the L in it. No. It's like USBA or something like that. USB, USPA. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't really remember at this moment anyway. I'm already frustrated because they took money from me and like users. But yeah, that's that. So I don't know, but I'll search it. And then next week, what are you gonna do? Going to start part two, or are we gonna do something different?
Uh, I'm. I could probably do some of my homebrew that I have for Forgotten Realms. Cause I've been telling you about Forgotten Realms and stuff.
Yeah,
So I could do that.
that's nice.
Let me see.
I really like your story. Like, so are you done? Like, you that's the rough draft. So you're gonna go
That
to the
is the
final.
first one. So
Hmm.
I'm. Yeah, that's not the other. That's not what I was looking for. I. Uh, I am wanting to get back into my writing and stuff for freaking November. Um, that's something I want to do, but I've got to get the outline started and everything. It's basically going to be a repeat of what I just went over with you.
Well, see, it's funny you say that because I was writing and I just well, not finished, but I was doing my planner and I was like, yeah, I
Uh,
need to start back to my writing as well. But see, I would not. Mine is different. Like I don't know. I like your creativity because I mean, mine is creative, but it's more like I think we write based off our experiences, or
you
like
know,
because I can hear, yeah, you know what I mean. Like even if it's fiction, because it's like I hear you in your story, like no flex. I could definitely picture you being Zuka. And I can picture that, not in a weird way, like consoling women type thing like that, but like maybe it'd be possible, or maybe a Ether type thing. Because like I can feel that for you. But it's wild because I can I can feel me being Tiana and I've never killed anyone in my life, but it's just something
you just
about her.
you just want the leather and the whip.
That's what it is. And then and her fit, like I feel like she should have boots with kind of boot apple bottom
Stiletto.
jeans, boots with the fur. Oh my goodness, no! But the boots, okay, the stiletto heels. But how is she gonna kill people in stilettos? Come on! But she
You know
has
what a
like
stiletto heel will do to a freaking
somebody.
eyeball?
So have think. Oh my gosh! Now she has to have stilettos, but she has to have fur around her stilettos. Like it has to be like a boot type of thing to where she has the fur around like her ankles and stuff like that, like a lambskin or something
Just,
like that.
just evil.
Yeah, like really, like
What's
her
up?
whole fit. I killed a cow for this, then I killed a bear for this fur, and like
Catch her,
stuff like
catch
that.
her out in a cow pasture, freaking eating a freaking cow raw, and just
Oh
come
gosh,
up with a freaking the ear in her mouth and
that's
like
so crazy. What do you mean we're
intestines
under attack? And then she
falling.
just gets up and like goes crazy. And
I
but
didn't
she's so
like you
gorgeous, and guys
anyhow.
are falling in love with her automatically. And then she seduces them like, "Oh, do you love me?" And then she'll act like she loves them as well and plays
Now,
along. cuts their throat off.
she's gonna have descendants. Okay, that's what you gotta realize. She's gonna have descendants, and like you think her character's good. Wait until you hear freaking some of her descendants is that's
Oh, I can
passed
only
down.
imagine.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've covered everything about Lycia. Now freaking all these people have freaking done like a mass exodus out of the Lycian Empire to far off realms, and that's where you start learning about them. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So that's what's next.
It's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'm glad I finally got to hear it. I've only waited forever, but
You, you had to hear
forever.
you had to hear the boring stuff. You had to hear the plot.
You kept stopping, and you're like, yeah, and then this is how I wrote this, and this is where I got this from, and then you'll read a little bit, and I'm like, wait, and you're like, oh no, that's it, we're done for today. What? What do you mean we're done for the day? Yeah, that's it. We're done.
Had to
We're on
get her
time. Blah,
done.
blah, blah. Yeah, like I'd be so frustrated. Like, and I know people was like that. We were going to basketball practices, and I know people would be looking at me like, "Why is she yelling like this?" Because why are we done? Why are we done? But no, it's cool because like I got to hear it. So now I look forward to the next one. But I guess you sound like that's not coming for a little while, huh?
I'll start back up on it, and because like I said, I've got to start working on I've got to do the Draconian. I'm sorry, but they've got to be written out, and they're gonna be cool as shit. Okay, I mean it's gonna blow your mind with the Draconians. There's even in ufology, dude. The Draconians are just badass. Okay, bad guy. Whatever, dude, okay? They are just some badass creatures.
Raw shit, right? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the story's gonna get going good. And then I'm gonna mix them in with the freaking reptiles off of Forgotten Realms. You know, people who are into D&D who freaking never tried Forgotten Realms, they're gonna get a taste of it if they read this book, dude. These reptiles are gonna be something. I mean, they're gonna be crazy as hell.
Yo, that's lit. I really. How long before you publish?
Well, I have to decide how much of the secret space program I want to apply to this story.
I see.
And of course, it's not going to be anything related to Earth or this.
Right. Talk about the Trade Federation and stuff like that. Yeah, I know what you talked about, but you're just attempting to see how you incorporate it. But that's going to be cool because like that leaves the mind into a whole different type of thought process if you be realistic about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just think about what it actually is, the fact that it actually truly exists, incorporate it into a fiction. You can elaborate as well as exaggerate as much as possible and let people's mind completely wander and develop their own interests, as well as perhaps have them to be able to do some own research. You know what I mean? Just based off the interest. That's how you got me.
That's basically how I'm gonna do it, and I'm not even gonna mention the fact that it's inspired off of ufology and Forgotten Realms. I'm gonna let people just freaking read it and make their own conclusions. You know?
Yeah, I like that. That's so cool. How long have you been working on this?
Oh, it's just been here recently. I'm not gonna say it's been long. It's been about maybe 8 months. Maybe.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, about 8 months.
And so idea.
I've been working with my videos and stuff too, so I've been really
off and on with it, not consistent where it's just hardcore you doing the actual writing. But like it came from your studies, and that's kind of what triggered the influence.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. It's cool. Great job. I'm inspired. I had coffee. I'd stay awake, but they stole my coffee because Starbucks costs $10 for a bottle. So I guess
You shouldn't be going to Starbucks. Go get you a
I
coffee
didn't know. I
pot.
didn't go to Starbucks. I ordered the groceries and see what I was going to do was mix the vanilla latte with my tea. That way, because the tea kind of makes me a little drowsy, but I put a little bit of that coffee in it with the espresso.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal. I have work to do tonight, so I'm like, okay, geared up for my coffee, and these freaking losers stole it. And it's just
Like,
like, yo, you're so lame because it's
let
like you
me
couldn't
let me
afford the ten
finish though
bucks.
what I was gonna say. Okay, you can get coffee pots these days that freaking can do just as good as the shit that freaking you get from freaking these coffee shops.
It
Okay,
was a grocery store. I got it from Target.
but
It was for me to make in home. Yeah,
yeah,
it was in home.
exactly. You
It
know,
was in home coffee, but they stole it.
well, I wanted to finish that because that's something. Even if somebody's watching this and they hear that, they need to freaking wake up and go to the freaking store and they'll find these. I can freaking make singles now. Okay, back
You
when
have
I
Keurig?
no, I
You have a
mean
Keurig? Oh.
I can if I wanted to. You know what I mean? Just make
No.
single cups of coffee or single freaking espressos, whatever. I don't have to make
Well,
it. You
I
can go
don't
to
usually drink just one cup. It's easier to have, you know what I mean, readily prepared, and then I just heat it up as I go. But
yeah.
what's fun, like I said, my tea, because I have herbal tea, like it's supposed to clean out your insides and everything like that. And but sometimes my other tea I mix with it, it makes it to where I get sleepy. So now tonight when I'm not productive, blame it on my Uber driver because like, why did you steal my stuff? And I still get charged. Like Uber sucks balls.
Oh,
Oops.
just
I hate it.
keep your mind off of the Uber driver, and you should be okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna just do it myself. I can so myself so do it, but it's just
Yeah,
annoying because my money doesn't grow off trees. I
I
mean,
know.
it goes off of a tree somewhere, but not around here. Shoot, not up in here. Not up in here. No, but for real.
We need to end this episode, but if next week comes around, we need to get together and talk about getting some stuff started with helping you out on your channel too. Like I want to kind of get together with you and help you understand like OBS and all that a little bit better. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start working towards the download. I gotta finish my planner. So it was on my list of things to do. I was gonna do it while I was at the park today, but I'm dealing with some legal stuff, so I had to type up
I
my
understand. I
yeah, I
understand.
had to type up my little letter to let people know, hey, you will not play with me type thing. But I'll figure it out and I'll make sure I have time. But I see you be up in the middle of the night, so I won't feel bad about hitting you up. And if you get at me, you get at me. If not, then when you see it, I know you will. So it's no big deal for me.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
dokie.
good.
Well, I
Yeah,
appreciate you and great story.
thank you, and I appreciate you being here too. This was pretty cool. So
Yeah, I love doing it. I like have you. You make it fun. Like I'm glad because at first I was like intimidated by you people. No offense, you people, but it was just like it was quite overwhelming, and the chat got kind of vicious. But you've always been so cool and just welcoming. You make me comfortable. Like I mean, I don't even know if other people do shows, but I know that I like coming to yours. So that's cool.
all right,
Well, see you soon. Have a nice night. Be safe.
you too. You guys have a good night too.